Hey guys, Demir Bentley from Lifehack Bootcamp. I just finished a 30-day digital detox and I'm like over the moon about the results and I want to tell you guys about it. So first, why? Why would I need to do or want to do a 30-day digital detox? Well, I'm a productivity coach at Lifehack Bootcamp, and so one of the books that we were reading for our book club was Digital Minimalism by Newport. And when I read this book, I was almost convinced immediately that I needed to try this. Now, here's the funny thing. I had actually been really suffering from some pretty bad symptoms, and they were really undiagnosed. Here's what was happening. I was sleeping enough, almost 8.5, 9 hours a night, but I was totally exhausted. Just could not get enough rest. And I was getting this brain fog. I actually started to think and worry that I was getting dementia. I had actually scheduled an appointment with a neurologist because what I was doing was trying to remember somebody's name. I couldn't remember it. Trying to remember a word or a phrase or a book, and it wouldn't come to my mind. And as a coach, this is really serious. You need to be snappy. You need to be quick on your feet. And I just lost that edge. It was so foggy inside my brain. And of course, when you're tired and you're foggy, your attitude suffers. So I was just feeling negative. I wasn't enjoying my job as much. I was a little bit worried, just sort of fearful what's going on with me. And I didn't connect any of these to digital media or digital dementia as I now do. So the irony of this whole thing is that when I started this 30-day challenge, I did it just as a lark to take my students through it. I didn't connect it to the digital dementia that I now know I was suffering from. But let me tell you guys, this immediately cleared up so many of the most vexing problems I was having with my attitude, with my rest, with my engagement in my work, and most importantly, with my digital dementia. I feel like I've got my brain back now. But don't worry, I'll take you through every step. So guys, let me just be clear. I was not a hardcore digital addict or constantly on my phone. I'd actually done a lot of work in the past years, sort of clearing out the digital addiction and the digital engagement in my life. And so I didn't actually think there was any more fruit left on this tree. But the funny thing is I couldn't have been more wrong. The best fruit was still on the tree. And so just to repeat, the book that I worked from was Cal Newport's Digital Minimalism. And he has what I think is the best methodology out there for doing a digital detox or a digital fast. And here's why, is because a lot of people say, well, I could never do a digital detox because I need my phone for work or I need my computer for work. Well, obviously, I didn't take 30 days with my computer and my phone locked in a drawer. So what Cal Newport does is he actually has you create a list on one side of all of the valid uses of technology. So when I go into work, of course, I'm gonna need to check my email. We personally have Facebook groups where clients need us to respond. So of course, that's a valid use of technology. I did not stop doing that over the last 30 days. But then there's a whole second list, all the negative uses of technology, staying on YouTube way too late, watching too much Netflix and binging, scrolling in the feed every single second that you're just feeling even slightly bored. So those are all the negative uses of technology. He has you create that list, and what you're fasting or detoxing from isn't the positive uses of technology, it's the negative uses. So what's cool about this video is going to go back in time and show you my video entries so that at each point you can sort of see what I was breaking through on, what was challenging, and these like incredible results that I've been getting. So I had 4 weeks of the digital detox and then 2 more weeks after that I've waited to do this video. So I have 6 weeks of perspective. So at the end of this video, I'm going to zoom up to the 5,000 foot view and I'm going to give you that sort of like cherry pick those big conclusions and outcomes that I think were just incredible in this experience. Okay, 48 hours in, and here's what I've done so far. I've deleted all of the time-wasting apps off of my phone, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, Pinterest, anything that is a content consumption time waster, it's off. I've also banished YouTube, so no more YouTube, no more Netflix. And I've instituted a hard and fast rule that if I'm bored, I just need to sit there. Now here's what's amazing. It's 48 hours in, I am already feeling fantastic. You know, strangely, I've been feeling so tired lately. And I get enough sleep, but I've just been feeling so darn tired. And 48 hours after this digital fast, I feel like I'm so much more rested. And I've been getting brain fog. I've been sort of chalking it up to being in my late 30s and just saying, oh no, oh my God, my brain's going to pot. But actually, 48 hours after a digital fast, I feel like I've got the brain that I had in my 20s. I'm sharp, I'm focused, I'm clear. This is good. I'm gonna keep going. End of week 1 check-in. So the most important thing is I'm still getting those incredible results that I got within 48 hours. Digital dementia, gone. so much more rested, getting so much more relaxation, and that's improving my mood. I feel like myself again. I feel like I was in my 20s. Honestly, no lie. If this was all I got from the whole thing, it would have been worth it 1,000 times over. I'd be lying if I didn't say that there were some down moments, right? Not down in terms of attitude, but just moments when I was sitting there exhausted from the day and totally bored. The moments that I would open up Netflix or open up YouTube, and I just had to struggle through that boredom. But honestly, it usually only took about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, let me just share a quick story into that to give you an example. One of the nights this week, I just got so bored and I was antsy for like 10 or 15 minutes. And I was so bored that I just thought, sort of out of nowhere, I need to talk to Justin, just a guy that I haven't talked to forever. And so I call up Justin. We end up having an incredible conversation and put together a business deal that's probably going to make us a lot of money in 2020. And it was just because I was bored and I sat with it. So week one, amazing. I'm all in. Okay, midweek 2 check-in, 2 things to report. Number 1, on the positive side, I've actually started taking an hour of devotional and like reading time in the morning. This is what Cal Newport talks about, solitude time. And it has been so relaxing, so nice. And I'm definitely gonna keep doing that. On the negative side, I'm starting to exploit what I call the Spanish loophole, where I told myself that I can watch Netflix, but only if it was in Spanish. But the problem is now I'm binging Netflix in Spanish, which goes to show that rather than give up Netflix, I'd almost rather learn an entirely new language. So that is not the intention. I am learning Spanish fast and my comprehension is going like through the roof, but by the same token, that was not the intention. I really need to watch that. Okay, end of week 2. First of all, this has been amazing. Like I cannot recommend this enough. I will admit that the solitude deprivation is coming back and I actually didn't recognize that was what it was. So here's what happened. Basically, I started getting more efficient with my time and I started doing more things like calling friends or doing something productive and getting back to shoving every square inch of my time with something. And so a lot of the solitude that I was experiencing in week 1 just accidentally sort of went away. And I realized that that's actually a big part of the relaxation and the mindset change and the brain fog. So I need to get that back. A big way that I'm gonna do that is I need to close the Spanish loophole. This idea that I can watch unlimited amount of Netflix if it's in Spanish seemed like a good idea in the beginning, not a good idea. Now, ironically, for somebody who is, I would say, pretty actively addicted to YouTube, it was a big part of my life, it hasn't been a problem. I have not felt any kind of desire to jump back into YouTube. Okay, end of week 3, and I'm over the moon. Absolutely over the moon. I would just say the best way to communicate this is that I've just tightened up the whole ship. Things that I've been beating myself up over for years, like not having a reading practice or a daily devotional time, I've just been doing effortlessly in the past week. I mean, here's something that came out of nowhere this week is normally I put everything I've got into work. And when I get home, I'm used to just being totally exhausted. This week, every single night of the week, I felt like doing something after I got home, doing a project, going out with friends. So that evening energy is just surging. And this is sort of like the hard thing to explain, but I'll try. My internal experience of just myself is better. Like I just enjoy being me more. I know that sounds so stupid, but like I'm having more fun being me. Okay, so today is the end of my 4-week challenge in the Digital Detox. Oh my God, I'm so glad that I did this. This has probably, I would say, been the most profound shift that I've had in the last 5 years in terms of my productivity, my energy. I said this before, I'll say it again. You know, I've been telling people that if you took all the results that I got from this and you put it in a pill, being more rested, being more positive, having a better experience of yourself, being a better coach, no mind fog, like better relationship with with your wife, more productive. I mean, I would pay hundreds of dollars a month to keep that prescription going. I mean, this has been just tremendous. So I'm not going to recap all of the stuff that I said before. So everything positive I said before, just copy and paste. But here's some things that I was sort of surprised by. Quitting my digital media addiction was sort of like when I quit cigarettes. I was so addicted to cigarettes. But then when I quit, within like 2 or 3 weeks, I went from being totally addicted to just like completely horrified by the smell of cigarettes, by other people smoking them. I mean, it just so quickly went from being an addict to just completely horrified by it. You know, by comparison, my phone used to be something I could not live without. And now when I go to dinner and I see people always on their phone, they think they're being sly. They think that I don't notice or that it's not disrupting the conversation, but it is, and it's disgusting. Now, I totally realize the hypocrisy of that because just 4 weeks ago, I was that person. But just word to the wise for all of you out there who think that you're being sly when you're checking your phone, you're not. It's killing the vibe. I also want to throw in a couple things that my wife, Carey, has noticed about me. The number one thing that I didn't know I was doing, that I was doing, is that when I was on YouTube or Netflix and she came to sort of initiate a conversation, I was vaguely annoyed. I didn't feel like I was vaguely annoyed, but I was giving the impression that I was vaguely annoyed that she was interrupting me. So now, obviously, that's not happening because I'm not on YouTube or Netflix, so I'm always excited and sort of happy when she starts a conversation up. Now, I would be totally lying if I said that this was an unambiguously positive process. I mean, there are some very real cons that you have to be dealing with, not the least of which is boredom, right? Boredom can feel excruciating sometimes when you are tired and you just want to relax and sort of like unplug, and you just have to sit there with yourself in that tiredness and that misery. Now, when you're also having a stressful day, forcing yourself not to be able to unplug is almost like life without anesthesia, right? We realize that these small escapes, whether for 2 minutes or 5 minutes or even hours, this is a way to just sort of anesthetize this hard thing that we call life. And doing a digital detox means you're experiencing life without anesthesia. You know, one of the philosophies that we have in our 60-day breakthrough bootcamp, where we get people just insanely productive, is that we start introducing a little bit of discomfort every day. And that's because our philosophy is that we've sort of become allergic to discomfort. And the more that we try to avoid pain and avoid discomfort, the more that even a small amount of discomfort makes us run for the hills. So I actually think this is a great practice in getting a little bit more resilient, getting tougher. Okay, here we are 6 weeks from the start of the digital detox, the digital fast. What's interesting is in the past 2 weeks, I haven't really been in a digital detox or digital fast. I've been sort of back to normal life. So I wanted to share with you some of my observations of what's come back. Have I backslid? And have I noticed anything positive or negative? I mean, the first thing that's super positive is I can see that even without putting a ton of intention into this, I still haven't gone back to 99% of my negative habits. I feel like, let's just start with news. News media, I feel like adds zero value to my life, and it is not hard at all to not want to wake up in the morning or in the afternoons or, waiting in line and open up the news. I just don't check the news anymore. Also, my mornings, that daily solitude time that I design into the mornings, getting up early, doing my daily devotional, reading a book for an hour, that is like my favorite part of the day. And I can feel that daily dose of what Newport calls solitude, just getting some solitude where nobody else's voice is coming into my head. It's just me alone with my own thoughts. That has become an indispensable part of my life. 2 weeks on, my relationship with YouTube has been interesting. I've had some moments where I've given myself permission to go back and have a tired moment and just open up YouTube and surf. But more than ever, I question the value. Like, what's the real essential value of YouTube to me? What is it doing for me in my life? I know what my morning devotionals do for me. I know what reading books do for me, but I don't really understand what the trivia and the sort of quick fix of YouTube does for me. So while I'm not being really sort of anal and cutting it out entirely, it's got less luster for me, less excitement. I mean, honestly, when I look back at my diary entries just 6 weeks ago, it is hard to emphasize and underline how much radically positive change I've undergone in the last 6 weeks. It would be easy for me to get cocky about it or arrogant, but I try to remember, I was actually not in a good place 6 weeks ago. I mean, if I could distill the change that's coming over me into a pill, I'd pay $400 or $500 a month for that prescription to be more rested, to be more focused, to be more myself and feel more confident and calm and less anxious about myself, to be a better coach, to have more time and do more things around the house. I mean, if you could distill that into a pill, I can't tell you what I'd pay for that. So what's my assessment? My assessment is you need to do this yesterday. If you're feeling anything that I was feeling, that chronic exhaustion, the digital dementia, the low levels of mood and the difficulty attaining that positive, proactive mindset, if those are things that you're feeling, you absolutely need to think about doing a digital detox. And what's there to lose? You know you won't be worse off doing a digital detox. So check out Cal Newport's book, Digital Minimalism. That's the methodology that I highly recommend for you. If you like this kind of content, we are here to help freedom seekers get their stuff together and create the life that they want to live. If you like that and you're a freedom seeker and you're going through that big transition to create the life that you want to be living, then subscribe to this channel. We're going to be interviewing people who've changed their life, and we're going to be bringing you more amazing content just like this.